Welcome to Mental Metal Coaching, where our mission is to help you learn to thrive in the face of adversity, not just survive it. We are passionate about empowering you to live, play, and work with a resilient and spirited mindset. Hi, I'm Matt Tillman. I'm an ICF professional coach and keynote speaker. My background as an athlete, basketball coach, teacher, and school administrator has equipped me with the insights that resonate deeply with the schools, teams, athletes, and coaches I work with. However, it's my personal journey through anxiety, cancer, and an ischemic stroke in 2020 that truly brings authenticity to my presentations. While learning to speak and write again, I also pursued and earned my ICF coaching certification. Now the practices I embrace are more than theoretical concepts. They're a way of life. Developing a positive mindset is within reach for all, but it requires self-awareness and the repetition of intentional activities. At Mental Metal Coaching, we'll guide you, your staff, and your students on this transformative journey. Together, let's forge your metal. This is the Mental Metal Podcast, where we explore how to forge mental toughness and resilience in every aspect of life. Welcome, I'm your host, Coach Matt Tillman. I'm an ICF certified professional coach with a background as a teacher, basketball coach, and athletic director. But my journey took a dramatic turn in 2020 when I survived both cancer and a stroke. Those experiences shaped my mission to help others grow stronger in every facet of life. Today, I work with athletes, coaches, educators, and anyone who believes that positive mental health is both achievable and a personal responsibility. This podcast is dedicated to helping listeners develop a positive version of toughness, one rooted in resilience, focus, and growth. Whether you're looking to excel on the field, in the classroom, or in life, this is your space to learn, grow, and take action. Join me on this journey, and together, let's forge your metal. So most people, when they talk about mental toughness, the connotation, the idea that we have is that it's just grinding harder and just work harder, everything until you're really good at something or already diving into something that you're already good at and being the best at something. There are elements of that. I agree. But there's another side of it, and that is the beginning in which an individual will have to deliberately put themselves in a position where they're likely to fail and where they're going to have to be vulnerable. And that's something that word I use so much on this podcast, on the importance of being vulnerable and putting yourself in a situation where you're forced to grow. And my guest today, Katie Timmerman, is a great example of that. So Katie is an Olympic hopeful in USA Handball, both the typical handball and beach handball, which I didn't even know was a thing, but I'm going to have to check it out because when she talks about it, it's pretty cool. It seems really interesting. But Katie is an Olympic hopeful for USA Handball and has been playing less than 2 years. And that speaks to a couple things, which we're going to get into in the episode. But she was a basketball player and played some other sports growing up and made that decision to change, knowing full well that she was not going to be good and she was going to suck at it at first. And there's a couple instances I see in Katie's story where she is very open to putting herself into situations that are tough and they are difficult and really going to expose her. And she may not necessarily succeed and knows there's going to be some failure there. And there's so much to be learned from that. And I think Katie is another example of, if you've been paying attention to the podcast, I've gotten several Olympians and Olympic hopefuls on the show. And it is, it's just fascinating to me it isn't fascinating to me, but it's good to see, and I'm not surprised. But I think that some people might be fascinated by this, and hopefully you continue to watch the show to see that. Is that I've talked to a bobsledder, several throwers, a climber, a biker, and some others, and I've got more coming. And they all have thoughts, and more importantly, practice and put effort into those thoughts on how to improve their mentality. And they see it as something that has to be done. It's not a maybe to them. They all pay attention to the mental side of it and account for it, lean into it, and make sure that they're doing things to get better at that part of their discipline of their game. And if you haven't, go back and check out all the Olympians that I've had on the show. And if you're paying attention to them, if you're listening to them, you're already getting it that this is really good way to pick up tips from high level successful athletes. And if you're getting that, then share it with somebody, share it with an athlete, share it with a coach, because I think that even though they may be saying some of the same things, that different people reach people in different ways. And just to hear different examples and stories from these successful athletes, or athletes that, like in this case, have been successful but want to change their discipline, and watch them struggle and watch them put the work into this new discipline and what they want to do. There's so much to be seen. That it's inspiring, and it's more than inspiring. It's something you should take notes on. Like, I did this. They did that. I should do this. And there's a lot of things in this episode. That vulnerability piece is big, but also Katie's her intentional choice to be vulnerable and to be in a bad situation. It also shows up in another way, in the sense that we talk about COVID and how the mitigations and the shutdown, where nobody enjoyed that, and it wasn't good, and it came at a bad time in her life from her athletic career, but she didn't dwell on that. She used that time to get better at other things, and said, okay, I can't do this, but then what can I do? What can I get better at while I'm here? What do I have control over? And it's not surprising to me that Katie has continued to be successful, because she is not afraid to fail and is not afraid to take a bad situation and make it better. So anybody that can do that in any discipline of sports, athletics, life, is going to ultimately be successful, because they aren't afraid of failure and they aren't afraid of bad situations. They just find what they can do to get better at it. And so that's what we're going to get into on this episode, and I love it. Katie is fun to talk to, and it's going to be fun watching her journey. So check out the episode. I'll talk to you on the other side. This is Katie Timmerman with USA Handball. If you are a parent of an athlete, I want you to hear this. You are already your kid's most powerful mental performance coach. It's not me. It's not their strength coach. It's not their varsity coach. It's you. The way you talk in the minivan, at the dinner table, and after games is literally wiring your athlete's brain for either confidence or anxiety. That is a lot of pressure, and it's kind of daunting. And that's why I created my free email course called the Resilient Parents Playbook. In it, I walk you through the 5 most common mistakes we make as sports parents, and I give you simple, practical tools to fix them. You'll learn how to praise effort and attitude instead of just results, how to handle the car ride home, and how to help your kid manage nerves and pressure in a healthy way. It's completely free. Just hit the link in the show notes and grab the Resilient Parents Playbook and start becoming the kind of mental coach your athlete actually needs. So welcome back to the show. It's the Mental Middle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Tillman. I'm here with my guest today, USA Handball player, Katie Timmerman. Good morning,
Hello.
Katie. How are you
Good
doing?
morning.
All right.
I'm doing great. How about you?
So you're the first thing I want to get into, we'll talk to your background a little bit, but this is something that I find interesting. You're on Team USA Handball. I'm sure you guys are working, trying to get to the Olympics and doing all that
Hmm.
stuff right now.
Yep.
What? How long have you actually been playing handball?
So technically, I started in 2023. I want to say it was about March, but I took a 2-year break to go play basketball professionally in Korea for a couple years. Actually, only like a little bit less than a year and a half I've been playing,
Okay.
like actually training handball.
Like actually playing handball, you've only been playing
Yeah.
like a year and a half. Um,
Yeah. A little less.
that
I think we're on
speaks.
like month 13th or 14th if we're being specific.
It speaks. I don't know what that speaks to. It speaks to obviously uh, the popularity of handball in the U.S. isn't exceptionally high. Uh,
No, not too high.
but maybe it also speaks to the crossover ability of a basketball player going into handball.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of good crossover. It's a lot of similar movements. And growing up, I played also baseball, so that's how I got the throwing mechanics down.
Okay,
So a combination of kind of all those sports is, I feel like, what gave me the upper hand to kind of like jump into it right away.
so how do you even like say I think I'm going to go play handball for the Team USA?
Well, I honestly had no idea about it until I was getting a message from the assistant coach at the time. He sent me a little Instagram message with a video that says like, "What is team handball?" So I had to go watch it on YouTube because again, I had literally no idea what it was. But he sent me a message inviting me to a camp in Torrance, which is where I'm from. So I was like, "All right, if USA Team Handball happens to come to my backyard, like I'm gonna go see what it's about."
I mean,
So it just kind of felt like within the universe and the signs that I had to go check it out.
is that what the guy's doing? Is he just sending it out to like basketball players and that are going to be in the area and say, "Hey, just show up and see what you think."
Yeah, honestly, we were at a conference tournament when I got the message, and a handful of my teammates and other teammates from like the conference itself did get the messages. And I remember talking about it to them later, and the coach was like, "Yeah, we try to target college athletes who are graduating because they don't really know what they want to do with their life yet. So it's like the prime candidate to like, hey, let's go switch sports and go try to become an Olympian."
Yeah, and you ended up going and playing a little bit of pro basketball, which we can talk about. But that's I mean, there's a my brother played like 10 years in Europe, and that isn't, and so I know a little bit about the overseas basketball. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. It's great to go and see places and do stuff, but it's not the glamorous life that people think it's going to be. I don't know if that's been was your experience.
Yeah, I kind of heard some horror stories about playing in Europe. I would say Korea is a little different since it is a like a truly professional league. They have everything covered for us and they invest a lot into the players. Like I had accommodation, meals, gym time, all of it. I could ask for whatever I wanted essentially, and that was as a rookie. So it's a little different, but yeah, it was a grind for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of college athletes go over and play pro basketball, and it's like my resources and everything was better in college than it was in pro. But
Mm.
it sounds like yours is from what you described, it's already a little bit better than some of the situations I'm aware of.
Yeah, I would say definitely in Korea, my situation out there was better than what I had in college.
Yeah, this is a conversation about overseas basketball and handball together. Here's my experience with handball. So now that you're getting into the world of handball, you'll probably appreciate this. So my brother went and played. He played his 10 years in Denmark, which is
Okay.
handball is like
Ball capital. Yep.
it's. So what's funny is I was talking to him one day and he's like, "Well, we got and they're the pro team." In their city, and he's like, "Yeah, we got kicked off the gym today because handball has practice," and I'm like, and I don't know anything about handball or Denmark at that point. And I'm like, that would never happen that's not going to happen in
No,
the US, but it was like,
no,
nope,
not at all.
handball's playing like basketball. Sorry, you're out.
Yeah, our basketball courts here in the US aren't even big enough to, or like
Right.
regulation size for handball. And like they don't want glue on their court. It's basketball and volleyball is the priority here.
That was the other thing that he was like, well, the real problem is we got to clean up the court after they play handball because
Hmm.
the ball gets so sticky and it gets all
Yeah.
over the court, which I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, it leaves the glue marks, and if you don't clean it, it makes a difference.
Yeah. So it just it's always interesting to me like the different sports that different nations are are interested in. And of course, us being the U.S. and trying to win, trying to do everything we can, we're trying to develop these teams. So what was your first experience with handball? You go to that first practice. Like walk me
Oh,
through that.
I walked in, I had no idea what I was doing. Like I
Not even
saw
the
the
rule,
little
not even the rule set.
no,
Nothing. Just
no. Like
yeah.
I saw the little 2.5 minute intro video. I was like, sick, this looks fun. Like I just need to be athletic and I could like be fine. I was so wrong. I remember like the first couple shots, like I wouldn't jump when I got to the 6 meter line. For whatever reason, I would just throw it and like I just got yelled at for not jumping. I was like, okay, sorry, like I'll try to fix it. And then I was essentially just playing basketball when I first got there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take my 2 steps and then dribble when I can and stick to what I know. But again, like handball's not basketball. You get that extra step. You can take your steps before and after your dribble. So it was definitely an adjustment. I thought I did really bad, but apparently they saw potential.
So you're going up to the line and you're almost like squaring up like for a three.
Yeah, yeah, almost. I like
Whereas
take my little mini hop versus like a maximal jump
yeah,
for air time.
yeah, most of their stuff is like off 1 foot, like you're shooting a 3-pointer off 1 foot. But it's also a lot bigger
Mhm.
goal you're aiming at too, which
Yeah.
now there's somebody guarding it. But it's a whole it's interesting. Um, so how long was it till you were like, okay, I think I like this?
Uh, I mean, I liked it right away, but until I felt like confident or competent at it, it took probably a good like 6 months, 4 to 6 months of like actual training.
Your athlete probably spends hours working on the specific skill set they need for their sport. And they probably spend hours in the weight room building their body. But how much time do they spend intentionally training their mind? Well, building mindset is the key to bridging the gap between the skills that we see and game execution. Well, Mental Metal Coaching provides individual programs that can help your athlete develop this third and crucial skill set.
So what is on that training? What's it look like now? Like what's the schedule for Katie trying? I mean, you're trying to well walk me through that whole thing, that schedule, and how what you're trying to do for the LA Olympics and or any other like competitions you've got.
So, kind of short-term goal is to find a club overseas to play it in Europe for this upcoming season. So that'll be consistent. But whenever I'm home, I just try to do as much physical prep and conditioning that I can in order to be ready for the opportunity to go to or from Europe or to or from our residency program. Because again, like the availability and like the gym access out here is very low. So oftentimes I'm training on the beach of all places. So I'm training more beach handball or indoor moves in the sands because it's just what I have. It's what's more local to me. But I try to practice in the morning and then work in the afternoon and then in the evening hit another practice.
I didn't even realize that beach handball was is it an Olympic sport as well?
Not yet. We're
They're
trying
trying
to,
to.
and they had it in Paris as like a showcase
Okay.
sport in order to
Okay.
try to make it into the Olympics, but it's not there yet.
How does it? I mean, you can't dribble.
You Our dribbling is like putting it in the sand and then like lifting our hand off the ball, or you could like roll it.
That
And
seems
you could dribble if you want. It's just
you
unpredictable
don't know
as
where
to
it's
where the
going,
ball will
right?
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for sure it'll come back to you.
That feels like that would slow it down.
No,
I mean,
you don't
it's
really dribble as often
okay.
because it's a 4-on-3
Okay.
offensive attack. So there's an advantage at all times, and it kind of sounds like a game that you made up just like in the playground because it's like spin shots are worth 2 points, alley oops are worth 2 points, like a spectacular play is worth 2 points, and then there's a specialist who wears a different color jersey. Anything they shoot that's normal is 2 points, and everything else is just one.
It's like they said, how do we take handball? We put it on the beach and make it be like fun for people to play and watch.
Yep,
I
pretty
mean,
much.
I mean that sounds fun to me.
It is really
I
fun. So I'm surprised it's not an Olympic sport yet.
well, those are they're so picky about that stuff, which
I
I
know.
get. So in order for you to be your best for Team USA handball, you have to go play on a European team somewhere because you
Yes.
because there's really nobody to play over here at that level.
Yeah, we have some club teams, but they're all also spaced out, and our club season is like once a month. We have a tournament or something that everybody comes together at. Versus in Europe, they have games every weekend, every Saturday or Sunday. So it's just more consistent out there, and they practice maybe 3 to 5 times a week. Whereas here, our local club practices maybe 1 to 2.
Is it a so over there in Europe? I mean, is it pro or is it still just club stuff?
It's both. It has a wide range of levels. Like I just had a tryout in France and they had a Division 2 team. And then in France itself, there's like a Division 1, Division 2, and then they have like an N1, N2, N3, and then a more kind of for fun club, which is like pre-national or lower.
Okay.
So they have like 7+ divisions out there in just like one area.
Yeah. So do you like have an agent trying to find you a spot out there, or how does it like, or do you just go be like,
No.
or do you just go like, well, I'd like to go to France. Let's just go there and try that out.
Yeah, so I am trying to utilize my coaches and my teammates
Okay.
who have connections out there, or we have a lot of dual citizens on the team. So
Gotcha.
I've had a handful of them try to help me connect with clubs or coaches that they already know of.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. And so you played basketball in Korea. Where else did you play anywhere else?
No, I only played in Korea,
Okay. So you're played in Korea and you played, and where'd you play your college ball at?
Concordia University in Irvine.
Okay. Okay. So you going from California over to Korea, now you're looking back over to Europe. So you're just, this is making you well traveled, if nothing else,
Absolutely,
which is,
absolutely.
I love that. That's got to be
Yeah.
fun. Um, Talk to me about, let's talk about, we talked a little bit about how the physical skills translate from basketball and then softball. You played some of that, and how that turned into your ability to play handball. But you've also talked to me about, let's talk, this is the Mental Metal podcast. So let's talk about the mental toughness aspect, and you specifically say that you feel like that was your X factor growing up.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing that that's probably still an X factor for you, that is the mental edge that you have, that has to be applicable in, you're changing a sport that quite honestly you're probably going to suck at first for a while, right? Like that so there has to be a
Mhm.
mental edge, no offense, but you know what I mean, like it's,
No, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
It
yeah.
is true.
So you have to go into this knowing that there's going to be more failure than usual. So I'm curious about that X factor, how it helps you, where it came from too. That's what I always really love, that idea.
Well, I mean, being able to accept like there's going to be more failure than successes in college as a 3-point shooter, I'm going to miss the ball more times than I make it. So I think that was kind of able to transfer over. Like a good shooting percentage is 40%. So I'm missing 6 out of 10 shots. And I learned to live with that over time. I used to be super hard headed about it. But yeah, I think my mental aspect in just being persistent has really helped me because a lot of these handball players that I was going against when I first tried out, they've been playing 10 plus years. They've had all the experience, and I'm here just like a rookie, a newbie on day one, no idea what I'm doing. But having the ability to shift my mindset from basketball, where I'm an expert or a master in this, to a growth and beginner's mindset of handball and just trying to absorb everything I can, absorb it like a sponge, take in all the advice that everyone's giving me, all the coaches, all the feedback, and then just applying it and internalizing it. I think that's kind of what gave me the edge in the beginning.
So it's interesting that you say that, because you are 100% right, especially when you're going to be a 3-point shooter. And like you said, if you end up shooting 40%, they call that really good.
It's a good day. Yeah.
It's a good day. It just is, and it's a good career, right? And
Hmm.
I think the amount of young athletes I work with that haven't crossed that bridge of understanding that yet, that still allow themselves to be so affected by a missed shot.
Hmm.
And the amount of times I have to work with somebody to talk to them and say, listen, like, that's, you're going to miss more than you make. You have to find a way to process that. You have to.
Hmm.
And you have to, whether it's, I mean, mostly it has to be about the next shot and believing the next one is going to go in. I'm just curious. You said that was something that was hard for you at first, and you kind of, you changed that
Hmm.
that that little bit of transformation. No matter how small it is, Katie, that's what I'm interested in. Like, what eventually helped you get past that and got into that idea where it's like, no, it's okay, it's just a missed shot. Like, where did that come from?
I think it came from I guess I started reading like a lot of mindset books and just kind of changing my approach because I know in high school I was super hard-headed and like beating myself up again, like you said, about every missed shot, every turnover, just so focused on the negative. But being able to flip and like see the positive, like, shoot, I made 4 out of my 10 shots in this game. That's a really good game. And then just seeing and investing more in the mental aspect of the sport. Like I could put up so many reps just shooting every given day, but if I wasn't putting in the work and on my mental side and how I approach the game, it's not going to do anything for me.
It's you're preaching my language, because I say that all the time. People get tired of, if you listen to my podcast, you get tired of me saying this, that there's 3 skill sets you got to have. You got to have game skills, which is why you get the shots up. Physical skills, you got to get bigger, faster, stronger. You know that. And you got to have the mental skills. And we, as a culture in the United States, are very focused on 1 and 2 and do
Hmm.
almost nothing on number 3. And then we wonder why it's an issue. why
Hmm.
why
Yeah.
young athletes struggle with the mental. And I'm like, well, because we're putting them under more pressure than we ever have, and we don't teach them anything. Like,
Hmm.
even you said you got it from you probably made that decision on yourself to go read those books. It's not like, I don't know, was it a coach or somebody else that said, hey, you need to do this, or was this like just your own decision to go do it?
It was a personal thing because I realized how my mental approach was hindering my game more than helping my
Huge.
game. So I knew that I needed to make a change.
I mean, that's it, right? That I always say that, like, to make the change in something, we have to have 2 things. We have to have recognition, and then we have
Hmm.
the repetition. You have to get to that point that you're like, listen, I think this is hindering my progress as an athlete. Well, then what do I need to do about it? For you, it was going and reading books, which the 2 books you mentioned, Relentless, I like. The Inner Game of Tennis, I love.
So good.
It's
So good.
And anytime I suggest that to somebody, they go, "Well, I don't play tennis." I'm like, "Listen,
You don't need to.
it's not a
It's
tennis,
not about
it's
tennis.
not about tennis. It is. Can you? I'll put you on the spot. Like, what are some of
Mhm.
your favorite parts from those books? Like, what do you recall? What do you still use?
I remember, I think from the Inner Game of Tennis, it's been a while since I read it,
Right?
but I think they talk about flow state in it at some
Yeah,
point and just being
absolutely.
able to go like unconscious and just trust all of the reps and repetition that you put in. That's one of my favorite things. And also just like positive self-talk and how you talk to yourself. Because I've been my worst critic at multiple times and being able to like switch the verbatim that I use with myself
It's
can change
it's not.
everything.
And I just get pretty honest with people when I work with coaches and individuals. It's like that idea that you need to be hard on yourself, and that's somehow that is mental toughness,
Hmm.
is just, it's incorrect. It's so incorrect, and it's unfortunately it's our default. So it
Hmm.
means it takes effort to change.
Yeah.
Um, what's the how do you notice that, like, when you talk about, when you said that changing what you say to yourself, how did you start to do that and make that happen, and then what sort of progress did you see based off of it?
Yeah, I mean, first I had to become aware of it. Like I knew that I would talk to myself and not in the best way or be a little kind of, I don't know, get down on myself, but being able to like realize it and then accept it and then accept that it also needed to change. I would just make like simple changes like, oh, I should have made that shot, that it's okay, I got the next one. So just like very small things that focuses more on the present and the future rather than what's happened in the past. And I think I after COVID like we had or during that break I really like dove into my mental and afterwards like I was a completely different player. I was so much more confident with myself, I trusted my teammates, and I was able, and like the stats proved so. I had like a breakout season that year because I put in the work mentally.
So, say that timing again. Where, like, how old were you? Where were you playing during that COVID time frame? Because I think it's a notable it's a notable season and a notable mark in a lot of athletes' careers. So I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious where you were at that point during that COVID, where you kind of started to make this change.
Yeah, so I was in college at that point. So during I would say my senior year of high school to after my freshman year of college, that was kind of like my worst sort of mental era, I would say, in basketball.
Well, I
And
mean, can
then,
I interject? Like, because things suddenly
yeah,
got harder, right? So
yeah,
so that we see the cracks in the facade, and we see the cracks in the mental abilities when the adversity gets cranked up, right? And that's
absolutely.
so it's not surprising. Sorry to interject, but
Mhm.
I'm like
No, you're all
that's worth
good.
noticing, because that's when it happens. You almost have to expect it a little bit, but if you're not ready for it,
Mhm.
was high school basketball, let's be honest, was it kind of easy for you?
No, like we were a
No?
very, very
Okay.
competitive program. I think we won CIF twice when I was there. My freshman and my senior year had an appearance our junior year. So it was very rigorous, and our coaches, they brought a lot of what they had in college down to us. So it was kind of like a perfect prep for college in a challenging
Okay.
way.
But how about you? But your ability to like win and do well, was that, I mean, you obviously did well.
Yeah, we were pretty successful. We did have our a couple years where it wasn't the best, and then we had to navigate through the losses and the challenges there. But even my problem was, even though we were winning, I was still like beating myself up about like not playing to my fullest potential or to my
Yeah.
expectations.
I mean, expectations are, it's tricky, because you have to have some level of them in order to like
Hmm.
move forward, but you can't have too much expectations, because then it breaks you down. It's a tricky line to
Hard
walk. It
balance.
really is. But the fact that you recognize that, and we're talking about it, that's what athletes need to do, is like, how much expectations do I want to have? How much do I want to, let myself off the hook for, and whatever. But so anyway, sorry to interrupt. So you start to see a little bit of struggle there as you go into high school, into college around the COVID time. So just kind of,
Hmm.
again, that question was like, you had your breakout after COVID, which is, I think that's notable, is what I'm saying. So talk to me about,
Thank you.
yeah, it is, because it tells me something about you.
Yeah, that happened, I think, right before my junior season is when COVID hit. I think we were in the middle of like a spring workout, or that we were towards the end of the year. They were like, "Hey, everybody needs to move out and go home." I was like, "Okay, this is crazy." But yeah, being in lockdown and not having access to like the basketball gym that always go to, and like our parks aren't really the best, or they took the rims off the parks, I remember, during
It's
COVID
crazy,
to
right?
like discourage people from going outside. And I was like, all right. So I was like, I had all this time on my hand, and I wasn't necessarily happy with where my brain was in all of the quiet and the lockdown. So I was like, I think it's time to like make a change. So I went and saw a therapist during that time, and I really invested into my mental work. Like I said, since I had time, I read a lot of books and really was just trying to improve what I could since the physical was removed,
Yeah.
if that makes
Oh,
sense.
it makes so much sense. And the fact that ah, the fact that you saw a breakout season after spending time working on the mental, again, that's something I take notice on, right? Because I think that, well, it's really interesting, Katie. Oh boy, here's the question that's really going to make your brain think a little bit. If you hadn't had the shutdown and the lockdown for COVID that
Mm,
prompted you to work on this mental stuff, would you be where you are right now?
I definitely do not think so.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's insane.
It And I think that there's so much to be said for that. Like, we have to understand that and recognize that like, something, you could be going through something right now that you think is the absolute worst thing for you, but if you take the right mindset towards it, you're going to
Mhm.
come up better on the other side.
Coaches, do you dream of guiding mentally tough athletes towards a championship? Kids that are resilient, persistent, and unshaken by setbacks. Well, in today's world, those athletes aren't born. They have to be developed. Many athletes face significant challenges and risk burnout. So, how do we foster that mental toughness without overwhelming them? Well, introducing the Ember to Inferno program, Building Mentally Tough Athletes. This series is designed specifically for coaches, offering a deep dive into your own journey of mental toughness and equipping you with practical tools to build confidence and belief in your athletes. Rather than just simply adding more adversity to their life, we focus on creating a strong foundation for mental resilience. You'll learn how to transform a spark of motivation into a blazing fire of toughness. using techniques that address challenges like social media pressures, athletic stress, and trauma. Don't just wish for mentally tough athletes, build them. Join the Ember to Inferno program today and ignite the potential in your athletes. For more information, contact me, Coach Toman, at Mental Metal Coaching.
I know I
Absolutely.
told you just a touch of my story, but like I would not be here having this conversation with you and sharing it with others and working with others if I don't have, a very serious health issue. And I'm able to look
Hmm.
back at that right now and be like, it might be one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It's
Which is so weird to say.
but but it's so powerful because
Absolutely.
because now you're in a situation where if you recognize that and you do that, then you're like, it really doesn't happen. It doesn't matter what happens to me next. It's about how I react to what happens to me next,
Hmm.
which is, dude, you're just, I don't want to say you're invincible then, but you're just like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll.
Yeah. Hmm.
How
Like
did
I'll
that,
be good either way.
yeah. How did that serve you when you go over to, it can't be all roses going over to play in Korea. Like
Yeah.
how did that serve you? Cause I'm assuming you're moving away from home, people, and I don't know. I'm assuming you don't speak Korean, but maybe you do. I don't know. But I mean, which is tough, right?
Yeah. Foreign land. I mean, my mom was born over there, so I have at least some heritage and some roots connected to Korea, so that's why I went. But yeah, it was definitely adjustment. I didn't know anybody going out there. I mean, I took the risk because it wasn't guaranteed I would be selected. It was a draft process, like it
Really?
is in the yeah, like it is in the WNBA
So
and the
you have to go over
NBA.
there and just put your name and say, I want to declare for the draft in Korea.
Yeah. And granted, like I was talking, I had an agent for this, and we were talking to coaches on the front end, and there was a couple interests, but again, it's like not certain. So I just bought a one-way ticket and went out there and was like, you know what, full send, like we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there.
So you had to go out there to be in the draft?
Yeah, I had
That's
to go out there.
crazy,
Yeah,
right?
with no guarantee. Yeah,
Just back,
just packing my whole life,
just throw my basketball shoes in a bag, and then like
literally.
after they draft you, do you just move to that city, or did you come home for a while?
No, you move straight to the city. Yeah, so I think that night the team drove me to like their little facility, their practice facility, and I was just there until at the end of the season.
So you say it's like the NBA, the WNBA draft, but it's more like showing up to the gym and getting picked for teams.
Yeah,
I mean, so,
yeah,
like a little bit, right? Because
it kind of does sound like that, yeah.
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, that's that had to be nerve wracking.
Absolutely. I mean, I felt secure enough in it, and like the adventure behind it too is also
Well,
it's fun. It's a cool story either way, and I've always wanted to go to Korea, so if anything, I could have made a little trip out of it. But no, I had a feeling it would work out and it would be fine, so I was just gonna follow it.
was um was there interest in staying there? You only play a year?
I played two
Two
seasons.
seasons. Okay. Was
Mhm.
there just like, oh, it was time to come home, or did you decide, oh, that's I want to do the handball thing? How that process work?
A little mix of both with the rookie contract. It's like a full year, so it's those that first season doesn't count. It's like your 0 year, and then you get
Okay.
one full year afterwards. So contract wise, it worked out. Handball wise, it was also time that if I wanted to shift and like actually go to the Olympics and have a chance of making the team, I needed to go back home and start training handball. And then also just like I wasn't really playing that much, so it just I wasn't getting better out there, I don't think, in terms of basketball. So I just made the decision to kind of walk away.
Yeah. So what's the path forward and the training look like for handball now? Like what's that now that I'm assuming now you said you've been at it a little less than a year and a half now, but it sounds like you're probably all in now. Like
Mhm. Yeah, definitely all in.
what's that training look like? I know you're going to go try and play somewhere, but what's the road to LA 28 handball look like? What's that take?
I mean, just stacking day by day. It's still 2 years away, so I can't get, I guess, too far ahead of myself. But trying to just stack days, work out twice a day whenever I can. And then again, like go to residency or go to Europe to learn from people who know more handball than I am or know more handball than I do. And then when I'm here in the States, like just watch the game and watch film on it and just do anything that I can handball related, even though we're lacking the resources.
Right. So what are the hurdles for you? Is it like you have to like make the team and then the team has to make the Olympics, or how does that
Mm,
process work?
gotcha. So we get the automatic bid in the LA
Okay. Oh,
Olympics
that's
since
right.
we're the host country.
That'd be nice.
Um, yeah. And then with the teams itself, our rosters change every tournament leading up to the Olympics, so we won't really know until it's actually 2028 as to who make the Olympic roster. But right now we have like a tier system within USA Team Handball, so we have our national team and then like our residency and developmental pool. So right now I'm in the national team pool, and those are people that could essentially be selected for said tournaments coming up in the future.
Okay. So it's a grind right now. You're trying to That's why you really want to get over to Europe and
Hmm.
do it. So, okay. So if you could pick if you could pick a country to play, like
Oh,
oh yeah, this is a fun
that's
one.
hard.
I know it
That's
is.
hard.
You've traveled a
Yeah,
little bit. Like if you
we
could say,
did.
here's where I'd like to go play if everything worked out well, where would you go?
Honestly, we just had a team camp in Norway,
Yeah?
and I think out there would be pretty sick because one, they're like the best in the world for the women's game. So being able to learn from people who are like elite would be phenomenal. And also just the country is so beautiful. I only
Yeah.
spent a week there, but I was like in love with it. Even on like a little gloomy day, I was like, it's so pretty. And it's just, I feel like my life outside of handball would be nice and easy.
You just got back from there?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
I follow you on Insta now, and I saw that you had some pictures out there on the top of the fjords and stuff like that, and it's
Hmm.
just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
funny.
it's yeah,
It's
it'd be
not too bad of a
no,
life.
it's not too bad. Well, what's the weather? It's May, so they have a little sunshine now. If you go over there in the
Hmm.
summer, it'll be good. It's the winter
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
but I'll be indoor playing handball,
you're
so it
right.
won't be the end of the
You're
world.
right. It won't be. It'll be great. It's just a different. It's just yeah.
It's
It's a
very
different.
different from Southern California, I'll
Well,
say that.
to say to say the least, right?
Yeah.
So on this handball, like I'm not even overly sure on what the positions are other than the goalie, right?
Hmm. It's a
What's
good start.
the yeah, what describe to me the positions what you play and how that translates to like the skill set you have to develop.
Hmm. So I play center back, which is in the middle of a court. So if there there's like the 6 meter line,
Yeah.
there's two wing players. These people are usually like really fast and really agile because they're just basically doing sprints the whole game. There's the back court, so there's three in the back, left, center, right. And then there's a pivot that's on the 6 meter line, and the pivot is usually a more like physical person who's just creating screens and gaps for the backcourt players or like a pick and roll sort of deal. Like they're the big man in basketball.
Gotcha.
And then I play center back, which is more similar to the point guard in basketball. So what was able to translate very well for me was my IQ from basketball and being able to read defenses and see the gaps, because that's not really something you can teach very well or very easily. So that's kind of how I
Well,
had an
at least
advantage
not
again.
quickly. At least not quickly.
Yeah, not
Right.
quickly.
So
Exactly.
you had to have some transferable skills there to be able to do that.
Hmm.
What's the difference in the mind like I know basketball when we play basketball, different teams play different ways. Right.
Hmm.
So like, oh, we're a run team or we're a defensive team or whatever. How does that translate to handball and like the sort of mindset you have to have or like how the type of team you play? I'm just curious about like what translates from basketball, what has to be the same, what has to be different, like the speed of the game. Are turnovers okay or are they not okay? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, it's definitely different team to team. I would say strategy wise, they would change their defenses more often. So there's like a 6-0 defense where if you're taller, they'll be more flat, or there's like a 5-1 trying to disrupt the person up top, or like a 3-3, which is more of like those agile and athletic teams. Being able to have kind of the mental approach to adapt to every situation and being able to read every situation and I don't know, make a game plan from it, it does translate very well. And then that or being a run and gun transition team, it exists in handball as well. It just looks a little differently.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a challenge, but it does translate pretty well,
Yeah,
at
it,
least.
it must. I mean, the game is at least somewhat similar, right? The
Yeah,
goal, they're somewhat similar. So that's interesting.
yeah.
Um, so, Katie, it's been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. There's so many things I could ask, but I want to, in the interest of time, let's kind of wind down here. And my last question I always love to ask everybody is, what's the one question I didn't ask you that I should have? Or what's the, like, coming on to this show, the
Ooh,
Mental Metal podcast, and talking about what you
yeah.
do, what is what's the topic we didn't dive into that you're like, I'm surprised you didn't say that?
Mm, it's a tough question
It
because I
is.
feel like we did talk a lot about a lot of good things, which I liked. In terms of mental approach. Hmm. Well, that's tough.
It is. It's designed to be tough. I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
we do a good job of kicking
Co
over every rock that we got there.
yeah, covering all of our bases.
Sure. Well,
Um,
and I also don't want you to leave the interview feeling like, man, I can't believe you didn't ask me this. I wanted to talk about this. Like, if there's something you want to talk
yeah.
about, then that's what we're talking about.
No, I mean, I think we covered a good amount. I guess maybe with USA Team Handball, like just there's a external factor strain that takes place mentally as well, not just like within the sport or physically or mentally, or I guess it is technically mentally, but just like having to deal with stuff like the lack of resources, lack of knowledge about the sport, financial strain, all of that stuff kind of plays a role into your performance and into who we can even recruit into the sport because that's essentially the limiting factor rather than whether you're a really good athlete or not, which is unfortunate.
What do you mean by that? Like, you just because people just don't want to do it?
No, well, I mean, since we're pay to play, like some people just financially can't
Oh, I
afford
gotcha.
to be, and like there's so many great athletes within the country who I think would be great at this sport, but due to working, due to paying for rent, all of that stuff, and all the other financial stuff that it takes to just leave your job or your position and go travel the world for team camps every so often, like it's not as glammed up as it is, and it's maybe hindering from us growing the game a little more.
Well, it's not maybe, it's absolutely hindering
Yeah.
in the game, like, right, because it doesn't, yeah. And I think that that's a really good point to bring up. And it should have been a question I asked because, I hooked up, I got hooked up with you because of the American Paragons Foundation, which is all about that. The
Hmm.
understanding that, like, I know I didn't understand it, and I'm fairly tuned into sports, and I know I didn't understand that, like, somebody like you that's playing Team USA Handball, you've probably got some
Hmm.
shirts that say Team USA Handball, and you got some stuff like that. And it's like, dude, this is awesome. It's so high. And you're like, no, this actually costs me time and money to go do this. Like,
Yeah.
and that's not the idea that we think about whenever we're talking about, Olympic level
Team USA,
Team
yeah.
USA, right? We're like, oh, they're
Hmm.
just getting, like, they get all the swag, they're getting paid, and it's like a couple sports get that, but
Yeah,
not,
like the top of the top sports get the money within the pool, but
yeah. And that affects, when you say that it's maybe mentally, it's absolutely mentally. It affects everything.
mhm.
Because it
Yeah.
probably, I mean, I don't want to put anything in your head that's not already there, but at times you probably have to go, okay, is this really worth it or is it not? I
Hmm.
mean, that it has
Yeah.
to be, it should be something you think about it because you should weigh everything, but it has to
Hmm.
work on your psyche a little.
Yeah. No, definitely. I've definitely had those moments. I'm like, what am I doing? I was like, I'm paying all this money just to like, yes, play a sport that I love and travel and like make these wonderful connections and bonds, but at the same time, like, where am I career wise? Like, I'm behind the eight ball a little bit career wise. Like, I've
Yeah.
sacrificed pursuing a full-time job in order to have a flexible part-time job or two part-time jobs. So I'm not where I am career wise. I could have gotten another degree in education, like gotten another like a doctorate in something, but I'm not doing that because I've decided to do handball. So there's just a lot of sacrifices that go into it that I think people aren't fully
Yeah.
aware of.
Well, then that begs the question, is it worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change anything,
Yeah.
but it is just like moments when you're feeling a little down or where like things may not be going as you expected. It does kind of the doubt does kind of creep in a little
Sure.
bit.
Yeah, and that can affect the way you play and the way you train and the way you do everything. So
Hmm.
it's I don't mind asking that question. Is it worth it? Because I think we have to ask those questions, because then
Yeah.
as long as you come up with the answer, they're like, yeah, it is. Then that gives you
Hmm.
a little bit of prompting on, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it.
Hmm.
So I wish you all the best. I hope it continues to go well, and I hope to see you on Team USA and you guys doing well, fighting an
Thank you.
uphill battle against those Scandinavian teams, and that's
Yeah, absolutely. We got a road ahead of us for
you
sure.
do, but it's fun, right? What do they say? The host team always gets a little boost, so you never know, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah, underdogs, rooting for the
there
underdogs
you
for
go.
sure.
So Katie, it's been fantastic. I really enjoy the conversation. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's
Thank
great.
you.
A paragon is a model of excellence, a standard by which others are measured, which makes it a perfect word for Olympians who embody dedication, resilience, and the very peak of physical and mental performance. With that in mind, we want to highlight our partners at the American Paragons Foundation. They're a nonprofit supporting Team USA athletes in underfunded women's and adaptive sports by helping them with career opportunities, media exposure, and real-world support beyond competition. Here at the Mental Middle Podcast, we are proud to be collaborating with them and help amplify the stories and missions of athletes who deserve more visibility. Check out AmericanParagons.org to learn more. There are a ton of ways you can get involved that don't cost a dime.
So I think there are two tools that you can steal from Katie and you should do on purpose. One is I think you should intentionally have some, let's call it vulnerability reps, or something you do at least let's say at least once a week or once a month even, where you go and try something that you know you're going to fail at, or something that is completely new and you're like, oh, I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm going to look hard at this. This is going to not go well. I want you to go and find some way. It may be something you're already doing. So I'll use my example. If you paid attention to the show, you listen to me, you've probably heard me talk about Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And one, just starting that was an enormous vulnerability rep. But I have vulnerability reps in that discipline all the time, in the sense that you may not know much about Jiu Jitsu, but it's people play different types of games. And me being a big, strong guy, I would do a lot of what they would call the big guy game, or the smash and pass game, where you just control somebody. And I can get pretty good at that, especially if somebody's smaller than me. But I don't necessarily I win, I win a lot of roles like that, but I don't necessarily get better, and I don't grow that way. So one of the things that I intentionally do is when we have a new move, or we're trying a new guard or something, that I try it, or I try a new submission, knowing that it rarely, if ever, works right the first time. So I might lose a bad situation or lose a role because I'm trying something new, but I never get better at it if I don't put myself in that vulnerable situation. And it is something that I see in my own life, in my the sport that I do, that like the willingness to be bad at something is the best way to grow. And so, and Katie's, doing that, again, it's so admirable to just say, I'm going to change it, leave a sport that I've been playing all my life and try something new and see what I can do. And I think that there's a lot to be learned from that. And I think that you should be doing that on your own. Find a way to be vulnerable on purpose, make mistakes, suck at something, and do it. And the other one is to intentionally reframe your mindset when something doesn't go well. All right. So the big one in our interview there was COVID. So many things didn't go well there. And she couldn't even, as she talked about, they even took the rims off the outdoor hoops, which, don't get me started. This is not that kind of show, but unbelievable. But what she did was said, okay, I need to shut down and reframe and take stock of the current situation. There's so many uncontrollables going on here. What can I do? I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. What can I do? And her decision there was to say, I can't work on anything physical. I mean, maybe you can work out, but I can't work on my game too much because there's just not a place to do it. And you can't practice against somebody, but I can work on my mental skills. I can read books. I can journal. I can learn about, learn about some different skills that I can do. And she did these things on purpose. So that is a big one. That's an obvious one. And let's hope that we don't have that kind of situation again, where you have to have this major situation and revamp and re-shut down and reframe everything in your life because of all these mitigations and shutdowns. But that philosophy applies to so many things. Every time we get told no on something, or we can't practice something, we can't do something, we don't get the job we want, we don't get the thing we want. Every time we don't get what we want, well, what can be good about that? I think of one of my favorite guys I follow, Jocko Willink, and he uses that phrase, good. And he said every time something goes bad, he says good, in the sense that if that's your mindset, it's like, hey, we don't get to do this. Good. That means we can do this. And it's such an easy way to kind of start to reframe your brain and say, look, I didn't get what I wanted. Things aren't going well. I can't do what I wanted to do. And my plan is now, my plan is kaput. What can I do? What can I find that's good? What can I work on? And with those two mindsets, if you're just say, hey, I'm going to try and put myself in vulnerable situations, and I'm not going to let a bad thing make me go negative. I'm going to talk about what's good about this and what can I still work on. Those two things, you're going to continue to be successful. I guarantee it. You can add that philosophy to any part of your life, no matter what you do, and it's just going to make you better. Right? Be vulnerable and shut down and reframe for the positive. And that's it, right? To me, that's mental toughness and being able to do that. And if you say, well, I'm not very good at that, I'm not very mentally tough, that's fair, but you only get better at it by practicing it. So the first step of practicing something is deciding I'm going to practice it. So finding that position to be vulnerable, finding that bad situation and turning it into a good, right? That's what, once you start to do that, you'll start to see what I'm talking about. You'll start to see what Katie's talking about, and it's all you'll want to do, because it means you just don't get beat. You can lose, but you don't get beat, if that makes sense. And wow, again, I'm so thankful for Shane Fisher. He is the founder of the American Paragons. The link's in the bio if you want to support him. Shane is doing a phenomenal job supporting underfunded athletes, Olympic athletes. I've had some really good ones. More recently, I had an Olympic powerlifter on the show, Ashley Dice. She's phenomenal. And just so many good athletes I'm getting connected with. And I love what Shane's doing, trying to support this. And I didn't realize, and you saw that in Katie's story as well, that there's not really much funding for this. Like, we love the Olympics. We love watching it. We love cheering for them, but they're not really funded. Some of them at all, hardly. And it takes a lot of work and effort and time to do things like Katie is doing, to say, I'm going to try and represent Team USA in handball. And that's it's most of her life right now, and there's no funding for it. And we're one of the only countries that really does that. And so again, I love what Shane's doing. Check it out. Check out their website. See if you can help. It's a lot of it's support, even if you don't want to say, I don't have money to give to that. I get that, but there's so many things that you can just support them, connect them with people, find others that can give them housing, give them mentorships, give them jobs, things like that. So everybody that jumps on the website starts to grow that network, and it's a good thing. So If you like Katie's story, check out American Paragons. If you like Katie's story from my conversation, check out some of the others that I've interviewed that are Olympic athletes, and share it with somebody. I say it all the time: like, share, subscribe, comment. You see some stuff on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm on everything, putting out reels and such. Like it and share it and comment. It really helps the algorithm. And again, it's not for me. This is a free resource, but it's sharing the ideas with others. And that's why I'm here. That's what I do. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been the Mental Metal Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Matt Toman, and always remember to forge your metal. Thanks for listening to the Mental Metal Podcast. Don't forget to tune in every week for more insights and strategies to help you forge mental toughness and resilience. This podcast is brought to you by Mental Metal Coaching, where we are driven by a passion for sharing knowledge and experience that empowers others to play, live, and grow with confidence. Our mission is to instill a resilient and spirited mindset in our clients, enabling them to confidently face adversity and actively seek new challenges for personal growth. At Mental Metal Coaching, we offer individual coaching, group coaching, and professional development for schools and businesses. Whether you're an athlete, educator, or professional, we're here to help you unlock your potential and thrive in every area of life. Until next time, keep growing, stay resilient, and always remember to forge your metal.